big league drag race for the first time, and you're bound to be impressed by the noise. A motor that makes 3,000 horsepower doesn't hesitate to tell the world about it. And you're sure to remember the smell. Tire smoke and nitro are heady perfume. Go to a motorcycle drag race, and you'll be struck by the utter simplicity of it all. This is racing stripped to its barest essentials. A huge wad of horsepower chained to an incredible piece of rubber, and the pilot sitting right out in the open in front of God and everyone. A drag bike burnout is something to see, but what happens next is truly amazing. What kind of man goes from 0 to 160 miles an hour in a quarter mile on two wheels? You might expect a throwback to the early motorcycle stuntmen, those children of the Depression whose daring do offered a way to make a living. You might imagine a cousin in spirit to the early barnstormers, traveling the fair circuit back when men were men. You might even picture a clone of Evel Knievel, addicted to crazy risks. You certainly would not picture Terry Vance. He's a handsome, articulate, and successful California businessman, and he has dominated his sport for nearly 2 decades. Vance has won a remarkable 14 Series championships, but the trophies are not in his office. You'll find the symbols of Terry Vance's success back here, in the engine room, in the care of Byron Hines. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Bowman. In the next half hour, we'll explore what may be the closest racer-mechanic relationship in motorsports. You'll get to know, and I think you'll like, Byron Hines, motorcycle racing's master engine builder and the hidden hero in the success story of Terry Vance.
This episode of Hidden Heroes is brought to you by Fram Oil and Air Filters, Bendix Brakes, and Autolite Spark Plugs and Wiring Cable, which are all quality products of Allied Signal.
Terry Vance and Byron Hines enjoy a very well-defined relationship. Vance is the front man. He rides the motorcycle. He takes the risks. Early in 1987, Vance suffered the first major crash of his career. Shaken by that experience, he saw hopes for a 15th championship fade to a glimmer. The man who helped Terry pick up the pieces was Byron. You see, Vance and Hines are much more than rider and mechanic. They are friends and partners in every sense of the word. Their names appear together on their race bike and on most of the bikes they race against. The Vance Hines logo graces every shipment from their thriving motorcycle high-performance business. And it even graces the front of a new line of franchise motorcycle tune-up and accessory stores. Their names are spoken as one. Vance, the racer businessman, and Hines, the mechanical wizard who makes it all possible.
You know, if I were a car salesman and I wanted to sell you a car, I couldn't possibly do that without an engine in it, right? So that's basically how this is. My job becomes easier because Byron's back there making products and performance and those things available so that I can sell them to sponsors and obviously customers.
His position is high pressure, making the big decisions, making the high dollar decisions, dealing with the media, just all of his distributors, talking to the banker. All I got to do is just come back here and do what I like to do. Deal with the guys that are immediately around me, and then just we go have fun on the dyno, and then if it works out, we do it all over again.
It's Byron's nature to downplay his role in the Vance Hines success story. He's a humble guy, inclined to let his motors do the talking. But he's also a legend in motorcycle drag racing.
If I can get out in front of Terry, I feel I've done my job. Then the bike will come thundering by, and Byron's beat me. I beat Terry, but Byron beat me.
In drag racing, the NHRA Nationals are the major leagues, featuring all the big-name drivers in the sport. Over in the corner, you'll find the motorcycle racers. The bikes are an oddity from outside the drag racing mainstream. They are here because Vance and Hines convinced the NHRA to add a motorcycle class.
They've raised pro stock racing anyway to a level of professionalism that allows us to run with people like Don Garlitz and Kenny Bernstein at the same event.
Ironically, Byron's pro stock motors power Terry Vance, and most of the guys Terry beats. Early in their NHRA years, this team was so dominant that the competition began to erode. Rather than get clobbered by the all-conquering Suzuki, Terry's opponents simply raced elsewhere. Taking the long view and fearing the eventual death of the class, Terry went to Byron with a radical solution: to sell horsepower to their competition.
My first reaction is I said, "You're crazy."
I wasn't the one that was staying here till midnight working on the flow bench and the dyno and, had all that effort in. I mean, we're not talking about a small dedication from a person's life to do what he's doing, I mean, it's a major dedication. I mean, everything comes second: family, life, relatives. What he's doing, it came first, and now all of a sudden I come back there and say, "Byron, if you don't give that up, we're not going to be racing." It would have been easy for him to say, "Well, we'll stop racing."
Instead, Byron placed his trust in his partner and went along. It was a wise move. The class and Vance and Hines' business both boomed.
The racing got better, more interest in the class. Our sponsors and stuff were quite impressed that there was that much more interest.
And so the pro stock division is thriving as it rolls into Pomona for the season's finale. Most years, Vance would already have locked up the championship by now. But that early season crash has left the sport's premier team playing catch-up.
We would definitely like to win the championship just to show everybody that we can come from behind.
Kenny Bernstein has 3,000 horses under the hood. And Autolite spark plugs. Plugs with a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. When Kenny's running for a championship, he knows what plugs will get him there.
Say hello to the emerging star of pro stock motorcycle drag racing. Dave Schultz of Fort Myers, Florida, is a computer wizard who loves to ride 160-mile-per-hour motorcycles. He's the point leader going into the '87 finale, threatening to end Vance and Hines' incredible string of championships.
It's a new experience for me to actually be challenging him this way. So the pressure, if I take the championship or if Terry takes it, I will still feel I had a good season.
By now, it's no surprise to learn that Dave Schultz's motor was built by Byron Hines.
When I got my first motor several years ago, I was so pleased with the motor that I've been a Vance and Hines customer ever since. And they've proven to me over and over again that they will give me the stuff it takes to beat them.
With the championship pressure on, Vance is remarkably frank about the fact that he's not the quickest rider on the track.
If you say, how am I against them riding on the starting line from A to B, I would say that I'd only be in the middle of the pack. There's quite a few guys that are much better than me. But then if you ask, how are you on development and feedback to make the bike go quicker, I'd say I'm one of the best, without a doubt in my mind. Then if you said, how are you compared to the rest of these guys in bringing in sponsors and selling an entire package and actually making a profit from what you're doing, I'd say that that kind of speaks for itself. We're the only ones in the sport making money. So we lose a few races, but we're still getting paid.
He's always been able to maintain a real high level of concentration, virtually mistake-free. Maintain the focus, long-term focus on the final round. Evaluate each component, each competitor as he meets them. And probably the most important feature is the ability to come back and make input. When he comes back from the end of the track and says, there's something wrong with the bike, the motor's not running right, or thing goes crooked, I mean, you might as well start looking because there's a problem.
To pull out the championship in the Pomona finale, Vance must outlast Schultz through the elimination rounds. And if both make it all the way through the finals, then Terry must win. Terry gets off to a good start. He fast qualifier with Schultz a close second.
I feel real good about tomorrow, and I think that if things go our way, it's just you got to have that momentum of us coming out of the truck tomorrow, and I think we'll be in real good shape.
Really, I think Terry probably has the horsepower hand. I don't know, maybe I have a psychological edge because we're stacked up in qualifying right now the way we always are. And every race this year, I've come out on top. I just hope I can continue that.
The runs last only a few seconds, but they create hours of work back at the trailer. First, data from the onboard computer developed for Kenny Bernstein's funny car and adapted to motorcycles by Dave Schultz is downloaded and analyzed.
And it'll tell you where the shift points were, what the RPM was when you left the starting line, the clutch in and out, and it gives you a lot of good information. You can see tire slippage or clutch slippage, and you can take that then and adjust for your gearing, shift points. There's a number of things. Drag racing is such a sophisticated sport that people just don't even understand how many things are going on in those, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. There's a lot of stuff compacted into a short time there.
But just as important as the computer in analyzing what happens in that tiny window of time is the trained eye of Byron Hines.
You can go to the starting line and have 5 different people stand behind a bike, and you get 5 different answers. And so it's real important to calm that down so you can just be clinical and say, okay, this is the problem. Just make an adjustment because, it's a lot of stuff going on in a real short period of time.
Well, he definitely has it figured out. You don't stand on the starting line for 15 years and not understand what's going on down the track.
Terry wins easily in the first round of eliminations, but Hines has spotted a problem with the tire.
You can see a pattern develop when the tire starts to lose its edge. And it leaves a little pattern on the ground, and you can say, okay, only got a few more runs here, and you better get it off, otherwise it's going to really get loose in the final.
That tire was carefully broken in and cured so it would reach maximum traction in the final round. But the race was postponed a week due to rain, and the rubber has begun to harden. The team makes a painful decision to mount a new untried tire between rounds. The championship hangs in the balance. Most of Vance and Hines' 14 titles have been walkovers, but they do know the feeling of championship pressure. In the late 70s, they ventured out of the pro stock class to take on the big guns of Top Fuel.
There were some guys running Top Fuel that were getting a little notoriety, and I think whenever anybody's getting notoriety and it's other than Byron and I, we don't like it. So we started zeroing in our scopes on their class. We struggled for a couple of years trying to get it together. We thought we'd jump right in and go whomp everybody, and it just didn't work out that way.
In fact, it took 2 years for Vance and Hines' Top Fueler to become a threat. But in 1979, the team went to the U.S. Nationals with a shot at the championship. The day was filled with apprehension. In the 6 seconds it takes to cover a quarter mile, a Top Fuel bike accelerates to more than 200 miles.